Here's this week's Steam Code Raffle winner. I give a Steam code for a free game away with every video I do, and all you have to do to enter is leave a comment that wouldn't violate Twitter's terms of service. Make sure you have contact info in your YouTube profile so I can reach out to you. A complete list of games to choose from is in the description below. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a chance to win. Now on with the show. I'm playing something almost every week, and sometimes I want to talk about it and give you a vertical slice. So stick with me for some lightning reviews. This week on the chopping block. This week I've been playing Sonic Frontiers. Before I get into the real substance today, I have to make a confession. It deeply troubles me, and I hope that you, my audience, don't think any less of me. I understand the connotations associated with this label, and I make every effort I can to fight the negative stigmas that come with it. I'm a Sonic fan. There, I said it! Yeah, we have fun here. Yeah, I'm a Sonic fan, but there's a tremendous caveat to that statement. I'm a fan of 2D Sonic. Sonics 1 through 3 and Knuckles, Sonic CD, Sonic Mania, the Sonic Advance series, Sonic Rush. I would contend that they are better than any of the 3D Sonic outings. In fact, I would make the contention that 3D Sonic has never worked. And this isn't when they're screwing over the franchise with entries like Sonic 06. Counterintuitive design philosophies are just one issue, let alone the fact that I don't think Sonic should have bothered opening his mouth outside of the cartoons. They also probably should have stopped expanding the repertoire of characters after Knuckles, except maybe with the exception of Biggs the Cat and Rouge the Baps. Baps. Now, before anyone starts slamming their forehead on the keyboard to verbally crucify me, let me qualify the statement of 3D Sonic having never worked. Sonic's gimmick is, and always has been, gotta go fast. You can deliver a good-feeling sense of speed and offer complete control within the scope of a 2D game. The restriction of movement along a single plane makes it easier for a designer to predict and compensate for the actions of a player to give a more finely crafted experience. Traditional 3D Sonic levels, however, through what I can only guess is some seemingly irrational adherence to a tradition in Sonic game design, had to facilitate linear 3D paths, and Sonic's movement had to be heavily restricted. In making Sonic fast, you would have segments where Sonic is basically being autopiloted on rails or through loops and gorgeous-looking vistas with very little actual control from the player. In fact, the player trying to make inputs on some of the 3D levels would more often than not result in punishment or death. To maintain the quick speed and impressive style of the game, they need to limit player controls in a very strict and select number of inputs. In order to have more intricate platforming challenges, Sonic had to slow down. Do you see the problem? Not every player should need to hone their platforming skills to the same degree as a speedrunner. Booting up Sonic Frontiers, this was all in the forefront of my mind, and it was not aided with the very start of the game opening with a traditional 3D Sonic level. However, once the level was completed, Sonic Frontiers throws you into an open world, and I will now make a qualifying statement after having experienced it. 3D Sonic has never worked until Sonic Frontiers. Don't get me wrong, Sonic Team has seemingly stumbled into what I think is the direction that 3D Sonic games should move forward in. But like a historian with kleptomania, they can't let go of the past. There are essential moments in the game where you still have to engage in, finger quotes, traditional 3D Sonic levels, and these levels being included offered a nice single package comparison in order to further solidify my posture. Once you're allowed to run free and explore the open world, Sonic's movement is less restricted and immediately becomes a lot more fun. His lock-on function makes combat quick and satisfying to an equal degree of his movement, and he's given a repertoire of secondary moves that further enhance the experience, such as the ability to run a circle around an enemy while drawing a ring in order to make them vulnerable, along with things like continuous barrages of shockwave projectiles. As I said, Sonic Team appears to have accidentally stumbled into the gameplay loop that they should focus on in future. However, as a longtime Sonic fan, I would contend that Sonic Team is physically incapable of understanding when they've found a consistent and quality feature for them to continue in future entries. Which leads me nicely to the story of Sonic Frontiers. I won't do any major spoilers, but I can still levy most of my significant criticisms without dropping them. Tonally, Sonic the Hedgehog has no idea what it wants to be. Sonic's visual design is, and always has been, one of his strongest characteristics. Oozing with 90s attitude, along with bright, colorful, and jovial aesthetics, you'd think a story would in the very least open in a more lighthearted mood. Nope! Sonic Frontiers opens with a melancholy state, and quickly starts tackling topics such as separated lovers, death, and uncertainty in an uncaring world. I wouldn't necessarily mind the game diving into topics such as that, but they need to ease you into it because, as a reminder, your main character is a cartoon rodent designed to be appealing to kids. And this makes the game come across as schizophrenic at times. One minute you're talking with Amy about deceased lovers, and the next you're jumping into an exciting and bombastic mini-boss fight that you come across simply by exploring the open world. And I don't speak with exaggeration that the major boss fights in Sonic Frontiers are possibly some of the most visually exciting that I've experienced outside of Ashura's Wrath, except all of it is directly controlled by you instead of being creatively crafted camera angles with QuickTime events. Actually, the more I think about it, Sonic's inclusion of so many disparate and inconsistent elements spreads to other things, some of which are appreciated, others you have to question their inclusion at all. Sonic's unlock tree of skills might have well have just been locked to story progression on the first island, because I had most of them before I ever left. The fishing minigame was nice and relaxing, though. And this game in length is far more robust than I initially anticipated. It took me about 6 to 8 hours to get off the first island, and there's 5 significant different locations to unlock as the story progresses. I think it's rather arbitrary that you have to unlock the Chaos Emeralds on each island, but I suppose just giving you the ability to run straight to the boss fights would have been a bit too much freedom for the player. Sonic Frontiers has shown that Sega and Sonic Team are capable of distilling Sonic into a serviceable 3D format. If they can only learn what to focus on for future iterations, then I might actually start to look forward to 3D Sonic games. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to self-flagellate for the sin of debating whether or not to make an OC for Guillotine the Hedgehog. Hey, look at that, it's the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember that commenting can actually win you a free prize. So until next time, this is Guillotine saying thanks for watching and keep your head on your shoulders.